Live look at the Fox 6 snow stick. This is out on the weather dick.
And take a look at the nationwide weather forecast for this Tuesday. And we start off in the Midwest. Storm and its cold front produces rain, showers, and thunderstorms across the northern plains, upper Midwest, along with the Great Lakes, as well as the Mississippi Valley and Ohio Valley. Wet snow is likely early today in western South Dakota and northwest Nebraska. Additional accumulations, about 2 inches or less. The steadiest and heaviest rainfalls across Minnesota from north Wisconsin, north Michigan, with 1 to 2 inches of rain possible. Thunderstorms are most likely in the lower Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. A few thunderstorms may produce some gusty winds in the lower Great Lakes. Ahead of the cold front, temperatures will continue to be above average with highs in the 60s and 70s. Behind the cold front, temperatures will be below average with highs in the 40s and 50s. In the south, the cold front, infused with moisture from Tropical Storm Octave near Baja, California, sparks heavy showers and thunderstorms in the Mississippi Valley, Oklahoma, and Texas. Additional rainfall of 1 to 2 inches with high spots of 3 inches is possible in central and northeast Texas, east Oklahoma, and Arkansas through tomorrow. Some thunderstorms may contain some gusty winds. Other than a few scattered showers in northeast Florida, the remainder of the region should be dry for today. Warm highs in the 70s and 80s from the south and eastern part of Texas and Arkansas eastward. Highs much cooler in the 60s and lower 70s in Oklahoma and north Texas. The front slides eastward a bit tomorrow, producing showers and thunderstorms from Tennessee and north Georgia to central and south Texas. In the northeast, high pressure keeps the region dry with a blend of clouds and sun. Temperatures are expected to climb in the 70s from southern New York south to Virginia. Slightly cooler highs in the 60s in north New York and New England. It remains dry along the coastal plain for tomorrow. The Midwest, well, cold front spills some showers and a few thunderstorms into upper state New York, central and western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and western Virginia for tomorrow. And finally out west, most of the region will be dry today, though some snow and snow showers will continue to fall in the Colorado Rockies with additional accumulations of 1 to 3 inches possible. More snow flies in the southern Colorado area, as well as northern New Mexico Rockies tonight, with another 2 to 5 inches of snow accumulation possible. Any morning flurries will end quickly in eastern Wyoming. Chilly temperatures will occur from Montana to Utah and Colorado, with highs in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. In the northwest, highs should be in the 60s and 70s, and across the southwest, highs will be mostly in the 70s and 80s for today. And that's a look at the nationwide weather forecast for this Tuesday. You can get the weather forecast 24/7 for the entire United States of America by clicking on the weather link on my website, tinyurl.com/Gunther's House, on your PC, Mac, Linux, or tablet computer, or on your smartphone, as well as on your tablet computer at tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile. Taking a look at the Kirksville, Missouri area weather forecast for today. Calling for cloudy skies this morning, turning sunny this afternoon, highs in the lower 60s. Breezy with westerly winds about 10 to 20 miles an hour, wind gust up to 30 miles an hour. Increasing cloudiness for tonight, lows in the upper 30s to lower 40s, west winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour, wind gust up to 20 miles an hour. Partly sunny tomorrow, highs in the mid-50s, lows in the upper 30s. Northwesterly winds shifting to the west at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, wind gust up to 20 miles an hour, diminishing overnight. And for Thursday, a little bit cooler and colder. Sunny skies, highs in the lower 60s, lows in the upper 30s, west to southwesterly winds at 5 to 10. Sunny on Friday, high in the upper 50s, lows in the upper 30s. More the same for Saturday. And then for Sunday, sunny skies with highs in the upper 50s, lows in the lower 40s. Partly sunny on Monday, highs in the lower 50s. Taking a look at conditions across the state and across the region. Sunny skies, 52 degrees in downtown Kansas City. Cloudy and 55 in Kirksville. Light rain, 56 degrees in Joplin. Cloudy and 60 at Springfield. 61 and cloudy at Osage Beach. 62 and cloudy in Columbia. St. Louis reporting light rain and 64 this morning. Locally, winds are out of the west to southwest at about 10 miles an hour, gusting up to 15 miles an hour at times. Relative humidity at 83%. Barometric pressure also rising at 29.92 inches of mercury. Regionally, temperatures and conditions. Well, let's see. Topeka, sunny skies, 49 degrees at last report. Let's see if this is correct. That was an hour ago. See if we can get a more up-to-date reading on that. And it doesn't appear we have more up-to-date temperatures in that regard. Perhaps a little bit later on this hour, the National Weather Service will be so kind as to provide the information that I am desiring. Anyway, that's a look at the nationwide weather forecast as well as the Kirksville, Missouri area weather forecast for this Tuesday morning. Still to come, we'll have market information from APM as well as Today in History, along with celebrity birthdays. We're going to take a quick break and come back. I'll have Composer's Date Book as well as the Writer's Almanac coming up next. You're listening to First Cup, and I'm your host, Joe Haffner, along with...
I did not understand that I had this gift. It's a gift from the Holy Spirit.
That's William Tapley, a.k.a. the Third Eagle of the Apocalypse, co-prophet of the end times.
I did not understand that I had this gift. It's a gift from the Holy Spirit.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
When a fire engine, ambulance, or other emergency vehicle approaches you with flashing lights and sirens, you may not always know who we are responding to help, but you can be sure that time is of the essence. Emergency services personnel rely on you every day to help them to respond quickly and safely to 911 calls. By taking a few moments to think slow when an emergency vehicle approaches you, you can help us to help others. When you see flashing lights and hear sirens, stay calm and make calculated, safe decisions. Look around to determine what is the safest route to take to yield the right of way. Move over after signaling your intentions. Finally, wait and check to ensure that it is safe for you to re-enter the roadway. By thinking slow the next time an emergency vehicle approaches you, you can play a big part in helping us to help the community quickly and safely. By thinking slow the next time an emergency vehicle approaches you, you can play a big part in helping us to help the community quickly and safely.
And here is the Writer's Almanac for Tuesday. It's the 15th of October, 2013. It's the birthday of the writer who gave this advice: always get to the dialogue as soon as possible. I always feel the thing to go for is speed. Nothing puts the reader off more than a great slab of prose at the start. I think the success of every novel, if it's a novel of action, depends on the high spots. The thing to do is to say to yourself, which are my big scenes, and then get every drop of juice out of them. P.G. Wodehouse, Pelham Grenville Wodehouse, born Guildford, England, 1881. His father worked in Hong Kong. His mother traveled back and forth, so the boy was raised by a series of aunts. Got a job as a bank clerk, started writing humorous stories and poems. First came to the United States to cover a boxing match and fell in love. Wodehouse said being in America was like being in heaven without going to all the bother and expense of dying. Moved to Greenwich Village, 1909, started to write stories for the Saturday Evening Post about an imaginary cartoonish England, very polite but stupid aristocrats like Bertie Wooster, who was looked after by his butler Jeeves. P.G. Wodehouse, who wrote more than 100 books. It's the birthday of a great radio announcer, Bob Trout, the newscaster, born in Wake County, North Carolina, 1909, wanted to be a writer someday like his hero Jack London, worked at various odd jobs, winding up at a radio station, WJSV, which was bought by CBS, and then Robert Trout moved to New York, joined Edward R. Murrow in the CBS newsroom. He became famous for his ability to improvise during major news events. He got the nickname the Iron Man. During the Allied invasion of Normandy, he began broadcasting at 3 a.m, didn't stop for more than 7 hours. It was Robert Trout who announced the official end of World War II to Americans. And when in April 1945 he got the news of Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, he interrupted a broadcast and delivered an impromptu 25-minute tribute to Roosevelt without any notes and any advance work. He was a formal radio announcer dressed in tailored three-piece suits, wore a hat out of doors, and tipped it whenever he passed a woman. And it's the birthday of Italo Calvino, born in Santiago de Las Vegas, Cuba, 1923, to Italian parents, joined the Italian resistance during World War II, afterward moved to Turin, and found a community of novelists and tried to write realistic novels, politically committed novels, and then decided rather than trying to write the book he thought he ought to write, he would write the sort of book that he himself would want to read. And those were novels that combined fantasy and reality, including The Baron in the Trees and If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler. Here's a poem for today by William Blake, The Garden of Love. I went to the Garden of Love and saw what I never had seen. A chapel was built in the midst, where I used to play on the green. And the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. So I turned to the garden of love that so many sweet flowers bore, and I saw it was filled with graves and tombstones where flowers should be, and priests in black gowns were walking their rounds and binding with briars my joys and desires. The Garden of Love by William Blake, that's the Writer's Almanac, supported by Lumosity. Lumosity.com's daily online workouts are designed to improve memory and attention and are dedicated to helping people feel sharper, think faster, and remember more. More at Lumosity.com. Produced by Joy Biles with assistance by Teresa Burgess. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.
This is the Composer's Datebook for October 15th. I'm John Zeck. On today's date in 1905, Claude Debussy's orchestral suite La Mer, or The Sea, was performed for the first time in Paris. Today, this music is regarded as an impressionistic masterpiece, but early audiences, especially those in America, found it rough sailing indeed. We clung like a drowning man to a few fragments of the tonal wreck, wrote a 1907 Boston critic, and suggested that instead of The Sea, Debussy should have titled his piece Seasickness. The sea is persistently ugly, wrote the New York Times that same year. Debussy fails to give any impression of the sea. There is more of a barnyard cackle in it than anything else. 2 years later, this on La Mer from the Chicago Tribune. It is safe to say that few understood what they heard, and few heard anything they understood. There are no themes, there is nothing in the way of even a brief motif that can be grasped securely enough by the ear and brain to serve as a guiding line through the tonal maze. There is no end of queer and unusual effects, no end of harmonic complications and progressions that sound so hideously ugly. The perils of modern music 100 years ago. For more information on new and old music, go to our website, composersdatebook.org. Composer's Datebook is produced by APM, American Public Media, and the American Composers Forum, reminding you that all music was once new.
Welcome back to Studio 26 as we're all on Third Rock from the Sun. Love that theme. Kind of a rockabilly beat there. And it makes for a great transition. Okay, speaking of great transitions, it's time for Today in